Good evening and welcome to my lecture series. And the title page is from Rome. It's the river god Nile. And if we look carefully, we can see that he is holding in his hand a smart clay tablet and the mobile 3D printer in the form of cornucopia. As you might remember from Crete, Zeus, the thunder god of Greeks, was there when he was infant and then broke off the horn of the she-goat who was nurturing him. And then later on, when he became omnipotent, he gave this small present. Today, of course, we think these things are entirely possible. My first lecture is about paradigm that is lost in digital doom. I really don't think it's doom, but I put the word there because it sounds good and makes it interesting. So, paradigm lost in digital doom. I think it's the modernist paradigm that has been lost. These lecture series are series of speculations. Future studies is a good thing to do because very often nobody remembers when you predict the future what really was predicted. And we remember only those predictions that really come true or might be possible, and we recognize something there. How is it that sometimes people predict future pretty accurately, even into the long, long future, hundreds of years? And I think the simple explanation could be that human beings predict all kinds of things, and some get it right. So those are remembered who get it right. But there have been hundreds, maybe thousands, who didn't get it right. So my hope is that maybe I get some things right. It is speculation, so nothing I tell is really science nor theory. So they are just speculations, and we have to take them as they are. There are two assumptions behind these lecture series. The first is that we face a major paradigm change, and it is still unclear what kind of new paradigm will come to it. We are pretty sure that it is the modernism we are living through. It has been post-modernism. Sometimes I've called it transmodernism, but definitely now this is over. The other question is, when did modernism start? And that is the theme of the next lecture. The second assumption these speculations are based on, that from the first decade of year 2000, several things or noticeable phenomena have happened that predict that this existing paradigm is loosening up and making way for something else. These lecture series are not from a universal point of view. They are through the lens of design disciplines, and particularly architecture, because I'm an architect myself, so I can't really step over it. So we are looking at these things not from the viewpoint of politics or economy or anything else, but it is the architectural point of view, looking at the things as they are and trying to make some sense, if that is possible, in the phenomena that are happening. These lectures are 9 I've put together. I've never read them before, so I don't know how long it will take. So there are themes, not really lectures, although they are named lectures. And we have 9, in a way, taking us through the themes I have planned. But then we also have 2, maybe even 3 excursus or excursa, which are not strictly connected to digital reality and which help or which are designed to broaden the base. So today we are talking about some case studies and introductory changes. The next theme is third and possibly fourth industrial revolution, or it might be even better to say technological revolution, and to be said at once, I don't believe it is the fourth yet. The third, behind the looking glass one, is discussing what is digital reality. What is the speculation about digital reality? The looking glass number 2 is about screen and image. Then the speculation about autonomy of image that has happened due to the technological changes and instant digital reality if we are connected online to it. Then fluid perspective as fundamental epistemological challenge for immersive virtual reality devices, where I'm looking at some of the ways how we represent space historically and even today. And it is in quite a change. I have used some examples from Google Maps, but now today I looked and they have been already changed. So this perspective into the representation of space changes every day. Then some words about digital manufacturing, fantasizing what might happen. As we see already today, buildings being printed, not to talk about artifacts. The 8th lecture is about digital reality as design horizon. And the last one is about imagination. I think the only thing we need to design in the future is really imagination. It would be fair to explain from which kind of point of view I have approached, or what is the school of thought behind my thinking. Therefore, you can either agree with it, or if you feel strongly against it, this is where the basic structure of thinking comes. And I have been using Edmund Husserl, particularly one book on the phenomenology of the consciousness of internal time, and slightly fantasy image consciousness that is a compendium and was published quite recently, although it has been written in the nearly 2 centuries ago. Phenomenology is the reflective study of the essence of consciousness as experienced from the first person point of view. That means each of us, if we consider ourselves subjects, personalities, or realities within our mind, can approach that flow of consciousness that is given to us. Phenomenology has changed quite some ways. The first author who comes into mind is Martin Heidegger, who is not so popular due to his fascist background. His history of the concept of time is, to me, not nearly as close to the essence of time as Husserl's time consciousness, which has been taken directly from Augustine the Great, Aurelius Augustinus. And Husserl says that nobody has said anything meaningful about time after Saint Augustine. So in about 1,600 years. Then there is Maurice Merleau-Ponty, taking phenomenology into the bodily development, probably one of the most common phenomenologists at the moment, Jean-Luc Marion, and also Paul Ricoeur. But the architecture theory I like to be identified with comes from the Essex School of Architecture Theory with Dalibor Wesley. Here is his book, Architecture in the Age of Divided Representation. Then Alberto Pérez Gómez and Louis Pelletier, Architectural Representation and the Perspective Hinge. And also Joseph Rickwert, First Moderns, Adam's House in Paradise, and other books. So this is the background. Husserl, going back to the things themselves, he was a mathematician, and from mathematics, from really abstract understanding of the world around us, he came to this study of consciousness. It also includes presence, or the focus of mind, the active state of consciousness, which we share at the moment all here in this space, which is slowly flowing from the past into the future. And at this very moment, as I knocked at the table, the reverberance of future and presence was becoming into a past, into a not so distant past. Consciousness is always of something, so it makes the study into intentionality, the objectness or the thingness. Everything we can think about has some kind of objective form or will to become a form. Then directionality of presence, which was also presented here already, looking into the future and looking into the past. These are called protensions and retentions. These are the memories of the not so long distant past and expectations of not so very long future coming to us. We all predict that in about 1 hour and 15 minutes this lecture is over, and you all have some kind of idea what you're going to do after that, or at least some kind of sense about it. Then reductions, phenomenological and eidetic, mostly to be used. There is also the transcendental, which I have not used. The phenomenological and eidetic reductions deal with some, as said, reductions or epoche or bracketing. We all understand that there is some kind of world outside of our consciousness. But for the principles of study of phenomenology, we can skip it. We can leave it aside from our discussions and only check the mind itself, looking at the consciousness, which allows some of the things to be much more clearly discussed and thought over. And eidetic, as it says, it tries to find the eidos of things, what they really are about, what's the common in several phenomena. Starting from Dalibor Wesley and Pérez Gómez, and later Gianni Viattimo and Daniel Libeskind, who have been part of this school of thought, it is clear that pure phenomenology doesn't really work for architecture and discussion of art, objects of art and architecture. So even if we try to be philosophically clear and distinct, it does not really work. So the basic background of this kind of thought is phenomenology that is highly mixed with hermeneutics, but also structuralism. There is nothing to do. The structures just pop out as soon as we start looking at phenomena in large scale.